Hello, good afternoon. My name is Gary. Nice to meet you. Thank you for your time today. I will be giving a free demonstration of my English classes. But first, let me introduce myself to you. As for my background, I have more than 14 years of teaching experience, and I took mass communication and I majored in journalism. I've handled all levels of students, from beginners to advanced, and depending on their needs, I can create a program that will suit them. I'm also teaching professionals like business English and students who are taking English tests like TOEIC, TOEFL, IELTS, OPIC, etc. And as well as moms who wish to practice their English skills. Well, for today, I'm going to show you some of the programs that I'm using during my classes. But before that, I want to say, hello, how is it going? How are you today? Good? All right. So I think we are now ready to check the demo class. First, I'm going to show the program that I'm using for my pre-intermediate, intermediate level, or elementary classes. All right. Now, if the student is in the intermediate or pre-intermediate level, I am using this program called Reading and Speaking Program. Okay, now how does it work? All right, so here, as you can see, there is a picture, right? So what do I do in my classes is I ask my student to first describe the picture. All right, by describing the picture, the students will have the opportunity to create sentences. Okay, now it should be basic sentences. That will be okay, because I want my student to focus on making complete sentences. I think that's important, you know? So a basic sentence is okay as long as the grammar is correct and also it's a complete statement. So what I do is I help the students make more sentences. For example, if they can speak more, then I would say, what do you think is happening in the picture? Look at it. All right. So let's start with the girl. What is she doing? So maybe you can say, the girl is planting a tree, right? The girl is planting a tree. So we can see it here. All right. Now, if it's a little bit more difficult, then maybe we can talk about their feelings. What about the boy? Can you tell me what is he feeling? Maybe you could say, the boy is happy. All right. So in that sense, we're going to help the students make simple sentences, but with the correct grammar and a complete one. All right. So this is the first drill that we do in our classes. Now, the second one is basically the reading. Now, maybe you can say, oh, reading. Yeah, reading, but with the corrections of speed, stress, and intonation. All right, so it's not just about reading, you know, especially for young kids. I think reading with practice, like intonation, speed, and stress, is so very important because it helps them improve their skill. All right, for example, look at this. Some students would just say, it's Arbor Day. Marla and Tio are planting tree in the backyard, right? But in our class, after they read it, I'm going to check their pronunciation. For example, it's Arbor Day, you know, so the intonation. It's Arbor Day. And then also the speed. Marla and Tio are planting tree in their backyard. Marla and Tio are planting tree in their backyard. So it means that you have to read it, but with certain stressed speed and intonation. All right. So I think in that case, student would be able to really practice their ability to pronounce the words. Now, if the first time when they are reading it and there are some words that they mispronounce, for example, they mispronounce arbor, then after they read it, I'm going to make them repeat the words. Can you pronounce it again? Arbor Day. Arbor Day. Look at my mouth. Arbor. Arbor Day. All right. And then if they're correct, then let's check it. And then we're going to read it one more time. All right. So I think in this way, the student would be able to improve naturally their ability to express, the reading stuff, express through intonation, stress, and also speed. And at the same time, after reading this, I'm going to ask them a few questions. For example, do you like planting trees? Can you see a lot of trees outside your building? you know so students then will have their time to express their opinion. Okay, and then also we got a little bit of writing and conversation. So here they are just going to fill this up. Now if the time is a little short and they needed more time to do it, then we can have it in our next class, or this can also be used as homework. Okay, so this program I think suits well, kids, elementary, Now if the student level is really low, for example, or let's say it's a beginner, all right. Now I use this program called reading and pronunciation. All right. Now in this case, it's very simple. For example, the topic is going to the zoo. Now, as you can see, the sentences are also quite simple. It's the same thing. If they mispronounce the words, then I'm just going to underline it at first, and then later I'm going to let them pronounce it again. So if their pronunciation is correct, I'm going to check it like this, and then they have to read it one more time. Now, the thing about this is it has certain speed. So here they can practice. For example, they wanted 100 words per minute. Then she goes to the zoo. She sees a lion. The lion roars. She sees an elephant. So something like that. Now, if the student could not speak faster than that, then we're going to start with, let's say, 50. All right? She goes to the zoo. She sees a lion. All right. So until the student develop that speed, then we can add more to it. But the most important thing is that they are able to pronounce it correctly. All right. And also be familiar with the words. Now, let's say they are truly a beginner, So if they don't know the word, then I'm going to put and use a Google Translate. All right. So that student would be able to know the meaning of it. For example, tiger. Of course, they know tiger, but yeah. Or here, let's say long trunk. They're not familiar with it, so I'm going to type it long trunk. Now, I understand that it's not directly translated. Maybe the translation is long, so I'm going to maybe use some pictures to show it. For example, let's go to Google and let's see the long trunk. All right. And after showing it there with the elephant, then maybe students would be able to know what it is as well. Okay. All right. So basically, it's more on the ability to pronounce the words and be familiar with new vocabulary words. Well, of course, this is just level 1. So as they go along, they can learn different levels too. Now, another program that I'm using for my student is the textbook called Can You Believe It? This might be quite familiar with some students. Maybe you have heard about this book before, but I'm doing a little bit a different way of teaching this. All right. For example, like in this case, there are 6 pictures, right? So what I want the student to do is to be able to describe the picture. All right. But I think it's not just about describing it, because I'm letting my students think more to what the picture is showing. For example, like in picture number 1, they can just say she's driving, right? She's in her car, things like that. But I want them to be more creative and think differently from what they can see from the picture. Now, what do I mean by it? For example, like you can see this. There are like big drops or something. So what do you think? Is it raining? Possibly it is snowing, right? And who is this woman then? Is she a teacher? Is she a student? Where is she going? Those types of questions should be asked in describing pictures. Now, this would help them not only improve their ability to express, but at the same time, think in English. You know, by doing such, they will be able to further enhance their skills. Now, you got 6 pictures to describe, after which, then we're going to be reading the real story itself. Now, as you can see in the story, there are some key expressions. All right, some kind of idioms or English expressions, which we are going to practice. All right, but first, they're going to be reading it. Again, I'm going to focus on their pronunciation, stress, and the speed, and be able to, you know, learn more about this vocabulary. Okay, now, after they learn it, I'm going to ask them to use it in a sentence. For example, turn on. Can you use turn on in a sentence? I turn on my computer. I turn on my laptop. I turn on my phone. All right. And then after which, this is now the part where we're going to try to know if they truly understand the story. There are questions here from A to G about the story. Why does Barbara turn on? And then this one is really good because they're going to talk about themselves in here, their personal experiences. Now, the right thing could be done as homework as well. All right. So basically, these are the programs that I am using for my students. All right. And I'm telling you, it's a natural way of speaking English. I think my style is really to help them improve naturally. So I'm hoping that you will be able to take a look at the program, make use of it, and hopefully get better in speaking English. All right. So again, my name is Gary. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you again very soon. Have a good day.